Hi, this is Deborah from dinglefoot.com, and this week I have a greeting card I'm going to show you, and I am using a page from an old book, and I actually bought this book just to tear out the pages because otherwise I couldn't do it to my own books. So I have a blue card background. I have that page. I cut it to fit the front of my card. I'm also going to be using some of the gemstone insects from Inkadikadoo, and I have the Dragonfly one, and I also have a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to be stamping this on the paper, and then we'll cut it out later. And then I also have blue Glimmer Mist. I have brushed corduroy, distress ink, and an ink blending tool, and I have some twine. So I'm going to be using these things, and we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'm going to take my brushed corduroy ink pad. I'm going to take my ink blending tool and just push it pretty hard into that ink pad. And I'm going to take the ink blending tool and just go all around the edges of this paper. Just make it look old. And it was kind of an old book that I had gotten, so it has kind of nice soft paper. And it almost had a little bit of a cream tint to the paper beforehand. I might even rub some across here. This brown will make it look really nice and old for us. Just going to go around the edges one more time to make it nice and dark. Okay, so now I'm going to get my Dragonfly ready. And as an afterthought, I decided I was going to emboss it in gold. So I grabbed my gold embossing powder here, and having it embossed will also make it easier to cut out. So we're just going to stamp it. I'm going to emboss it with the gold, and then after that I'm going to use the Glimmer Mist. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss it, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Glimmer Mist, and you can make your butterfly as light or as dark as you want. So I'm going to make mine a little bit darker. And if you get too much of the Glimmer Mist on there, just take a little rag and dab it off. And I'm going to actually use my heat tool to dry this so that it dries faster, otherwise you're going to have to set it aside and let it dry for quite a while. So I'm just going to use my heat tool and get mine dry right away. Okay, next step, grab some scissors and cut it out. So I'm just going to go right around the edges. You don't need to go in every nook and cranny, but when I get to the antennas, they're so fine, if you can see them on there, that I just kind of go right around them. Because if you ever try to cut those out, your butterfly's probably not going to have any antennas because they'll come right off. I've done that quite a few times. So we don't want that. I guess this is a dragonfly, but I've cut the antenna off butterflies plenty of times when I was just trying to cut it out to make a pretty embellishment for something. So just go right around them. You can go down in there just a little bit. I'm going to finish cutting this out, and then we'll get the rest of our card put together. Okay, my dragonfly is all ready to go, but before I put that on my card, I'm going to take my piece of twine. I'm just going to wrap it around this paper a couple of times. And then I'm just going to tie a simple bow. Might wrap it under there just to keep it kind of in place better. Okay, so we're just going to make a very simple bow. This paper is really, really soft, so it's a little hard to keep it straight while I do this, but okay. Just arrange it the way you want it and trim it. Okay, so this is going to go on the front of my card, and since my paper is so soft, I'm not going to use glue on it. I'm just going to use some score tape and put it on that way, because I'm afraid if I put any kind of wet glue on it, it's just going to show right through and wrinkle it all up. So go with the score tape today. So all we have to do is tear off the backs of it and put it on the front of our card. Okay, so I'm going to put the dragonfly on the front of my card now, and I'm also going to use score tape for that. I'll just grab a tiny little piece. You can glue this whole thing down flat if you want to, but I kind of like being able to fluff the wings up a little bit. So I'm going to take that, put it right there on the front of my card, and if you want to just do a little bit extra to it, you can grab some stickles, and these gemstone stamps have plenty of little holes that are like little jewel settings, so they're just perfect for putting little tiny dots of stickles in. So you can fill in a few of those and just add a little bit extra to fancy up your card. So I'll put a couple in there. And you can do some on the wings. And this card is pretty much done. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.